Whether uniting as a team or going solo against the world, these players compete in the highest level of professional gaming. They are victors of the mind game, players that possess the X factor when performing in front of thousands. Their names are remembered in the Pro Gaming Hall of Fame. These are the icons of esports. Many years have passed since the rise and fall of the HGC, Blizzard Entertainment's official Heroes of the Storm World League. Contenders of all ages travelled the world in search of their next challenge, putting their multiversal skills to the test as they moved as one through the game's treacherous war maps. Although the game didn't share the same popularity of others in its genre, fans who are loyal to the Heroes of the Storm Global Championship will remember its biggest highlights and celebrations with every live event that came to pass. When mentioning the glory of the HGC, it's hard to look past what each gaming region put forth as their 5-player champion team, come East and Western Clash, Mid-Season Brawl or BlizzCon time.
Gen.G looking to close it out. Sanctification has been used. Leyline in return. 20% falling. One member goes down. 2 members go down. 15 adults trying to hold, but Gen.G has done it.
It's a sign to behold here.
5 Heroes of the Storm gods from South Korea left bodies in their wake on the road to HGC fame, making their debut in the Multiversal World League as the honourable MVP Black. Exploding onto the scene since the game's official launch in 2015, Sake, Kyocha, Reset, Tist and Rich quickly became the ones to watch at major tier events. First place victories and thousands of dollars in prize wins were snapped up at the World Cyber Arena, the MSI Masters Gaming Arena and IEM Season X Shenzhen, to name a few. Each win left their mark on the world, and so the legacy of MVP Black in competitive Heroes of the Storm was born. 2016 was a breakout year for most high-profile teams in the game's growing competitive scene. Competing in both Blizzard Entertainment's newly formed HGC and NetEase's Gold Series Heroes League, almost every gaming region around the world had a handful of Heroes of the Storm pro teams to put forward, and a legion of fans to back them in every game they entered. Kicking off the start of April 2016 in true hot style, 12 of the world's greatest teams took flight to Seoul, South Korea for the 2016 Heroes of the Storm Spring Global Championship. This $500,000 prize pool event showcased the game in all its glory and the professional teams and players who had devoted their careers to the rising MOBA. From the very first game of the group stage to the final matchup in the best-of-3 grand final, MVP Black didn't drop a single game.
Mucho que intentéis ahí, cerrar la partida no les va a dar tiempo, las propias catapultas que van a terminar. Esto es GG, gana el equipo de MVP Black.
The greatest team from the Chinese region arrived in the form of Edward Gaming. With a strong record, they were clearly the one to watch during the 3-day spring tournament. But it was MVP Black who stole the show, as they destroyed them 3-0 in the grand final, ending it all on a near 20-minute Sky Temple, almost 2 complete team levels ahead of their opponents. If 2016 was the year that Sake and the crew put their names on the Heroes of the Storm esports map, then 2017 would be the year that the 5-player force would become celebrities within the competition's global scene. Putting their best strategies forward in the first half of the year, MVP Black earned Grand Finals qualification and success at HGC Phase South Korean Pro Leagues and Eastern Clash live events. It wasn't until June that year at DreamHack Yongchoping where their reign was truly challenged.
Roll 20, this
Qualifying to the 2017 Mid-Season Invitational as one of the leading South Korean teams, MVP Black did not disappoint as they finished off the group stage with 9 individual map victories, dropping a game once to European dominators Roll20 Esports.
Secured, boss, and a curve.
These results alone were a testament to the South Koreans' might and skill of the game. HGC fans around the globe were left confused when the clear tournament favourites fell hard and fast in the event's semi-finals playoff bracket, conceding to Team Dignitas after a heavily one-sided fight for Cursed Hollow.
Not only low, he is out. Team Dignitas with their dive comp and Twilight Dream have taken out 3 members so far. There's only 2 left. Dignitas moving toward the core. They have 20. I think they have done it. Trick, they're bringing down the core.
They have done it. You have an Illidan on the core. Tist also falling. MVP Black will fall to Team Dignitas.
The MVP Black crew managed to survive their first taste of the losers side bracket as they went toe-to-toe with Roll20 Esports once more. Only this time, tournament progression was on the line.
With 19 kills.
The team found their second breath as they laid waste to their group stage rivals. Ending the series 4-1, MVP Black held on a little longer in the mid-season brawl, progressing closer and closer towards a finalist position. As fate would have it, the title of South Korea's best came under fire when the squad went head-to-head with Team L5, the second South Korean lineup to qualify to the Swedish tournament. The willpower and mental endurance was there on both sides. Each team snapped up 2 victories, forcing a tie-breaking 5th game, which was to be played on the treacherous Towers of Doom. The Battle of South Koreans came down to the wire as health was running critically low on both teams' cores. With a handful of MVP Black players wiped off the map in the dying seconds, L5 pushed in the bottom lane and claimed their prize.
There can be no way. Not like this. 10 seconds, 13. Li Ming is not back yet either. The camp goes through, they move back in as CSC even is just going for a bit of a long-term D-step here. They're pushing him back, they cocoon him, they drop in, they jump in, they know it's over.
MVP Black was eliminated from the mid-season brawl in 4th position. A new low for Sake and his crew. With Phase 2 of 2017 right around the corner, it would be their journey to the November BlizzCon finals that would begin their dynasty as the greatest Heroes of the Storm team to have ever existed.
Ladies and gentlemen out there.
The events that would transpire at BlizzCon 2017 would see MVP Black rise to stardom in the world of competitive Heroes of the Storm esports.
Absolutely packed here in Anaheim. The Heroes universe out there is out in full force. It's a sight to behold here as these 2 mammoths of the scene, Fnatic, a world champion, MVP Black, a world champion.
The crowd was getting behind Fnatic, the all-star Swedish lineup that had the potential to snuff out the South Koreans' flame. The team made that evident as they took apart their opponents player by player in the Grand Final's first game of Cursed Hollow. Team members Schwimpy, Breeze and Smexy found a way in through a weakened bottom lane.
Schwimpy's on top of the core. The shielding is gone. 10% and down. Fnatic draws first blood on MVP Black, winning game 1.
Cursed Hollow marked MVP Black's first loss of the entire tournament. Strategies were formed in the second game as the South Koreans locked in Brightwing and Falstad for more of a global map presence on Infernal Shrines. Maintaining a 2-team level and 7 elimination lead, MVP Black tied the grand final score in the 19-minute skirmish, proving to the crowd that they had come to BlizzCon to win. The Greymane Karazim combo was working spectacularly. Rich and Sake continued the hero choices into Game 3's Battlefield of Eternity, accompanied by Tist's Johanna tank pick.
For 20 seconds, he'll have Lily
Fnatic witnessed their top lane crumble as a 14-minute Immortal smashed through their defences. The Europeans failed to make any impact in team fights or with the map objective, and were forced to bow out of the third game of the grand final. MVP Black was doing it. One final game would cement the team as BlizzCon champions. A win at the Tomb of the Spider Queen was all they needed. By handing in tokens, MVP Black was able to stretch out an early lead in the laneways. This helped them maintain the level lead and slowly dismantle the Fnatic defense. Although the stats started to even out, Fnatic players were being isolated as MVP Black moved in for the killing blow. In a marathon 23.5-minute game, the South Koreans accomplished their first BlizzCon win.
And MVP Black getting on the core. They have wanted this for so long as they continue to bring it down 50% and falling. BlizzCon, your world champions, MVP Black!
The BlizzCon victory put MVP Black on everyone's radar. After an acquisition by Team KSV, then a rebranding to the more commonly known Team Gen.G, the South Koreans showed no signs of slowing down as they dominated the 2018 South Korean Pro Leagues, Eastern Clashes, and the mid-season brawl. There was no doubt about it that the now Gen.G army was on top of the Heroes of the Storm Global Championship World. The fans would see them maintain that title for the last time at BlizzCon 2018. It came as no surprise that the South Koreans dominated the event's group stage before moving on to assert their dominance in a 2-0 quarterfinals whitewash. China's The One didn't stand a chance as Gen.G began their playoff assault. Sake and the gang were met with resistance in the semi-finals when they squared up against Europe's Team Liquid in the best-of-5 matches. They had lost the first game, but quickly made up for it on the maps of Towers of Doom and Dragonshire. The BlizzCon crowd knew in their hearts that Gen.G could pull through this extremely tight semi-final series. The Europeans forced a tiebreaker. The pressuring map of Braxis Holdout was the battlefield of choice in order to send one team to the grand final and the other walking off stage for the last time. Zerg hordes were released across the battlefield as each team strived to gain lane control. Passing the 21-minute mark, the deciding factor was the map boss, who helped puncture the bottom lane alongside 5 healthy members of Gen.G and a swarm of Zerg.
Down team of Liquid only has 4 here for defense. No, wait, they only have 3 as Urella fall 2. Arcader comes in for a drag, but Rich comes in for another takedown as Gen.G punches at 5.
The shield is gone, and Gen.G with a turnaround. Make it happen.
As one European team fell, another rose to challenge Gen.G for the title of BlizzCon champion. Dignitas drew swords with the South Koreans in front of the screaming Anaheim crowd. Fans of Heroes of the Storm, the HGC, and the teams have been left with a bittersweet feeling of this glorious moment in esports. On one hand, Gen.G defeated Dignitas in 3 straight games, a dominating result that saw them rise as back-to-back BlizzCon champions, crowning all 5 players as kings of their esports code.
Gen.G looking to close it out. Sanctification has been used. Leyline in return. 20% falling. 1 member goes down. 2 members go down. 15 trying to hold, but Gen.G has done it.
On the other hand, this would be the last time the fans, players, casters, and event staff would see a moment like this unfold in competitive Heroes of the Storm. And they wouldn't know about it until the cancellation of the HGC only weeks later. Although they only did it in a handful of years, Kyocha, Rich, Reset, Sake, and Tist created a legacy in Heroes of the Storm esports. And although some of them still compete today, but on a much smaller scale, they will always go down in Heroes of the Storm history as the greatest team there ever was.
Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with the amazing esport content from around the gaming globe. Only on Unbeaten Esports.